Hello, I'm Emily and I'm going to show you how to make a giant avocado cake. Start by baking your cake. Make 2 round cakes that are 1 or 2 inches apart in size. I made a 9-inch and a 10-inch cake. Our cake is going to be half of an avocado. Since avocados are curved, the bottom is smaller than the top, so we'll place the smaller cake at the bottom. Let them cool and then wrap them tightly in cling film or saran wrap and freeze them for 30 minutes. This makes them less crumbly for when you trim them. Meanwhile, sketch out your avocado. Put a piece of paper on the bigger cake pan to check the size. It's useful to have an actual avocado with you, so you can copy the shape easily. Then place the sketch on the smaller pan and draw a smaller version of the avocado to fit within the smaller pan. Cut out the bigger avocado. Pull your cold cakes out of the freezer. Place the avocado sketch on the bigger cake and trim around it using a serrated knife. Spread on your filling and place the smaller cake on top. Now cut out the smaller avocado and trace it onto a cardboard cake board. If the edges are jagged, tidy them up because the cake is going to end up on this board, so you want it to be neat. Spread some frosting on the smaller cake and place the cake board on it. Then flip the cake over and cut off the parts you won't need. Go around the cake, trimming it into an avocado shape. Angle your knife so the handle is pointing outwards and the tip is pointing downwards toward the cake to create a rounded, sloped side of the avocado. Don't go in too sharp or the bottom cake might crack under the weight of the top cake. To get an even better shape, flip the cake over and keep trimming. If you find that your cake starts to crumble, stick it back in the freezer to chill again. If any chunks of crumbs do fall off, mix some of the cut-offs of cake with a bit of frosting to make a mixture like a cake pop, and then press that into the hole in your cake. When you're happy with the shape, frost your cake. Make your frosting as smooth as you can, because any imperfections will show through the fondant. If it moves around, you can use a non-slip mat underneath it. Keep the frosting thin because if it's too thick, it will cause bumps in the fondant and might seep out of the bottom of the fondant. Now tint your fondant avocado green using green and yellow gel colours and roll it out to about 1/4 inch thick. When your fondant is ready to go, move your cake next to it. I'm trimming mine closer to the shape of my avocado cake, just so that there isn't too much extra fondant. Lift up the fondant and place it over the cake. Use a fondant smoother to press the fondant flat onto the top of the cake, and then use scissors to trim around the cake so the fondant fits perfectly over the top surface of the cake and none droops over the sides. Rub around the sides of the fondant to smooth any jagged edges. Now we're going to do the avocado peel, or skin, or whatever the outside part of the avocado is called. Again, it's useful to have an actual avocado with you. You can see this avocado is very dark, but not quite black. I'm using green and black and a bit of brown to match the colour, adding more colour as I go along until I'm happy with the shade. My hands match the colour very nicely. Roll out your fondant. And now we're going to prepare the avocado for its skin. Sprinkle some powdered sugar onto the green fondant so it won't stick to anything. Then place a non-slip silicone mat on top and a piece of cardboard or a large cake board on top of that. Then use a large spatula or a cake lifter to slide underneath the cake and carefully flip it over. I know the idea is intimidating, but I promise this part really is as easy as it looks. Now place the fondant over the cake and arrange it by gently pulling out the draping parts and pressing them against the sides of the cake. Trim off any excess fondant with a sharp knife or a pizza cutter, and then use your fondant smoothers to rub the sides until they're smooth. Now place another piece of cardboard over the cake and flip it over one more time. This is the last time. And voila! We have half an avocado! You'll probably have to tidy up the join between the skin and the green flesh. Use a paper towel or a paintbrush to remove any frosting that seeped out, and then brush the edge of the green fondant with a bit of water to make it sticky, and then press the skin into it. You can use a sharp knife to trim any skin that's sticking out over the top of the flesh. I filled a little Ziploc bag with lentils, and now I'm pushing it against the sides of the cake, indenting the skin with the bumpy, uneven texture of an avocado. Use a bit of frosting as glue on your cake board. Then lift up your cake and place it gently on the board. I'm cutting into my avocado to see the colouring of the flesh inside. It's a lot more yellowy than my fondant, so I'm going to paint some yellow colour onto my cake. I'm mixing the colour with some clear alcohol. Drinking alcohol, not rubbing alcohol. That looks very orange. And it's because it is orange. I grabbed the wrong bottle. Let's try again. This is yellow. I'm painting the flesh yellow and then using green to paint around the rim of the avocado so it's darker next to the skin. I'm using plain alcohol without any colour to blend together where the two colours meet. Next we're going to make the avocado stone. Crumble up your cake cut-offs and mix them with frosting, as if you were making a cake pop. Then form it into a semicircle, so it makes the half of the stone sticking out of the avocado. Put it in the freezer for 30 minutes to chill and set. Find something fun to do while you wait. When your stone has chilled, trace it onto a cake board and cut out the disc. Spread on some frosting and then stick the stone to the board. Make sure the disc is as close as possible to the size of the stone, because if it's bigger you'll see the overlying cardboard, and if it's smaller, liquid from the cake pop filling of the stone might seep out onto the avocado around the stone. Frost your stone and then cover it with pale brown fondant. I'm using brown mixed with a bit of yellow to match the colour of my stone. Now we're going to make this little nubbin of the avocado. Fun fact for when you're choosing an avocado at the market. If this little nubbin wiggles easily, the avocado is ripe. Anyway, make the nubbin by making a dark brown disc with a lighter brown disc on top, and indenting it with the small end of a ball tool, or anything else small and round, like the end of a chopstick. We're going to paint the avocado stone to make the colour and texture more realistic, and also to give it that glossy sheen that the stone has when you first cut into an avocado. I'm using brown gel colour mixed with clear alcohol, and painting back and forth across the stone so it has the same look as the actual stone. You can use the same colour to paint over the nubbin to make that look more realistic too. Brush the back of the nubbin with a bit of water and stick it onto the avocado skin. For the stone, you'll need a bit of buttercream to stick it to the avocado flesh. It looks like there's too much of my stone sticking out of the avocado, so I'm going to trim it. I'm using a sharp knife to cut through the fondant and the cake filling underneath, and now I need to attach it to the cake board again. I'm scooping out some of the cake filling to make space for the board, applying a bit of buttercream to make the board stick, and wrapping my fondant tightly around the cake filling to seal against the cake board. I'm just going to taste a bit of this for quality control. Okay, take 2. And that's perfect, much more realistic. You can see that there's some avocado flesh stuck to my stone. I'm going to recreate that on my cake by taking a bit of green fondant and squashing it down with my fingers so it's a bit bumpy and has irregular edges like on the actual avocado. I'm attaching it to the stone with a bit of water and then painting it with yellow to match the rest of the avocado flesh. The yellow looks brighter than on the rest of the cake, so I'm toning it down by brushing a bit of clear alcohol on over the top. And there it is, a giant avocado cake! But what do you say when a 13-year-old asks you to dress up your avocado cake as Harry Potter? Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more cake tutorials every week.